Good day, students. My name is Mr. Young, and this is my sixth video of my series. I'm showing you what is included in the tab system of 3D Studio Max 2011. Now, where we left off was in the Create tab under Geometry, and we used standard primitives, like the box sphere cylinder, things like that. As you can see, this is a pull-down window. And if we pull it down, we see there are 14 other options. And so we're going to choose the next one, which is extended primitives. Now the first one is the Hedra. Now, granted, I don't use most of these since I primarily make video games, not animated movies. So I may not put as much emphasis on these things as there may need to be. But for the Hedron, you click and drag with your right mouse button to dictate the radius. And as you can see, the tetrahedron looks almost like a diamond in the Sims game. But as most any object that you create in Max, it has parameters. Now, we're not going to go through all these parameters because I think a lot of them are useless. But some of them, like the radius, you've already set the radius when you drag the shape on. But this allows you to set it to an exact number, which might be important for your situation. But now the tetrahedron is only the first of 5 family members. The second is the cube or octahedron, which, in my opinion, these shapes do not do much for you in modeling, so I don't go into them too much. And then the octahedron or dodecahedron, which it almost looks like a low-res sphere. Now, I'm sure some mathematicians out there would find this a lot more useful than I do, but they're not making the video, so they can have their opinion, and I'll have mine. Now, star one creates like a star-shaped shape. Again, I don't find this very useful. And to me, it looks very much like the star shape character in Tron. And star 2 has even less useful parts. You can see it's a series of stars that come out of a center shape. I don't find it very useful at all. That's the Hedron object. Now, chamfer box, which I do find a little more useful at times. Again, you just drag the length and width with the left mouse button, and you raise the mouse up to create the Y. And then you click the mouse again and drag down to create what they call the fillets. Now, fillet in Max is nothing more than a fancy way of saying cut. Here you can adjust all of the amounts that you just put in, or you can put an exact numerical value to each. The most important thing here, I think, is the segments. You can increase the segments for length, width, and height, but also the fillet segments. These are important if the segments here are important if you're trying to add some detail to your shape before doing it. I think the most amazing part of this is the fillet segments, which the fillet is somewhat of it's got a spherical shape to it. And if you increase or decrease the segments, it makes that sphere shape more detailed, which could be quite useful for making, well, I usually have used it for making, well, displays, your heads up displays, it's just like a box, it's just a little bit more rounded on the edges. So that's that one, the chamfer box. Now the oil tank, chamfer cylinder, and capsule are all very similar. I will show you them separately to give you an idea. But the oil tank, it has like a shape to it, and then you drag the height, and so it has a bit of an oil tank look to it. But okay, that didn't use much height to it. It looks very much like like a sandwich or a burger, but if you increase the height, you see that the actual cylinder part increases in size. Now with cap height, you could increase or decrease the dome of the cap. And as blend does not do much, but obviously size does. You can increase the number of sides to increase it or decrease your detail level in your model. And of course, the height segments just relates to how many segments are in the the body of the cylinder. You can, if you increase that, you could then go through and cut that and just use the top or bottom of it. It just allows you a little more flexibility in your modeling. So and of course, as we showed in the first video, if you turn a slice on, slice makes your shape like a pie, and it does take a piece out of the pie, but it keeps the number of sides that you selected constant. It doesn't just take a bit out of that. Like say it's 5 sides. It doesn't just take a bit out and you have 4 sides left. No, it repositions each of the 5 sides so that you have even distribution. Or I guess in my my example here is 25 sides, but I could lower the 5 to there to be what I was talking of. But if you increase the slice, it doesn't take away size. It just scales them smaller. So it's still 5 sides, but it's more concentrated. Now, the oil tank and the capsule, which I'll show you the capsule as well, looks very much like a sphere until you let go. Then you pull up and you increase the middle section's height, which is very much like the oil tank, but it doesn't let you set the height of the cap like oil tank does. Now, chamfer cylinder, however, you set the radius of the cylinder that you want and the height of the cylinder, and then by dragging downwards, you again, that makes like the capsule shape. But in the parameters, you're able to, again, you can adjust the fillet and so that you have more of an oil tank look, like this, or it could be fluff for the castle look. I just know that that the oil tank and capsule are made to do things for you. And if any of you know me, you know that I don't like anything to do stuff for you. I'm more meticulous. I like to make it myself. So I like the chamfer cylinder for the ability to do it myself. Again, the size you can increase or decrease to give you more detail, and the slice is the same. So I certainly don't need to go through that on every object. Now the spindle, which some of our Jewish friends may notice, it's looks very much like a dreidel, and the parameters for this are pretty much the same. If you you increase the height, you have like a diamond shape, but then the cap height could be increased as well to give you a spindle shape, or it could be less to give you a cylindrical shape, or maybe just a little, give it a little height to give you a cylinder with pointed ends. So it's pretty much the exact same, and the segments and the slice are all the same as the other objects. So we don't need to go into that. Gen Con, I don't see a lot of use in this, because to me it's kind of confusing as to why you would need that. Because by default it's like a cylinder, but you can increase the fillet and alright, increasing or decreasing the fillet isn't really doing anything. Oh, I see. It's because the fillet segments are set to 0. So if you set them to 1, then the fillet width could be more. Again, I don't see much use in this because it's very much like a cylinder. But if you wanted to play with that, you could, I guess. Next is the ring wave. It looks pretty neat. It was made popular by the Star Wars movies. That when things blew up, they blew up with a ring around them, and now there's a whole mess of parameters in this that you could use, but it's there isn't too much that you could do with this, but except make it an explosion ring. So I won't go too much into it. You can define various different attributes in this, but again, I don't see much use in it. Though you can give it height so that the ring has thickness. So I don't know if you would have like I actually don't know what you would use that for. So we're just gonna move on then.